Hi there, it's March 1st and time to start Proverbs all over again with Proverbs 1. Now we are using, let me show you this list here. I'm going to make myself a little smaller. Now this is a list, you can see it goes from left to right, that being the most exact word for word translation, directly from the old original manuscripts and stuff. And and last month we used Good News translation, which is way over here. And thought for thought, the farther right it goes, the more not paraphrase, but the more they're doing a thought for thought, what they think it means and putting it into modern language, until you get all the way over to the right and you see it's an actual paraphrase, which is the Living Bible and the Message and stuff like that. And we're not doing paraphrases this month. We're going to try the Revised Standard Version, which is way over here, right on the edge of word for word, getting into the thought for thought, which means they changed a few things. And we're still going to back that up with the New American Standard, which is way over here on the left, which is one of the more accurate actual word for word translations done. So we're going to give that a try and see what it sounds, see what it looks like. Let's jump over here and we will go to Proverbs. I use this Bible Gateway because this is a great program. See, there's a Revised Standard and there's our New American Standard. You see, we used this last month, so we still got things highlighted in here. So let's begin in the Revised Standard Version, Proverbs 1 for March 1st. Okay, prologue. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. Nice title, huh? That men may know wisdom and instruction, understand words of insight, receive instruction in wise dealing, righteous justice and equity, that prudence may be given to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the youth. The wise man also may hear and increase in learning, and the man of understanding acquires skill. To understanding a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Right. And we will always highlight that. See, and it says exactly the same thing over here, word for word. Okay. We highlighted 2 last month. To discern the sayings of understanding. To understand words of insight. Reason for Proverbs. Receive instruction that prudence may be given to the simple. We're reading it over again. Okay. Verse 8. Warnings against evil companions, they say here. The enticement of sinners over here. Here, my son, and you can see this is, I already like this because it's not a woke version, I call it politically correct. And a lot of the newer versions took out everything that said my son and put my child or my children. That's not the actual translation. The actual translation is my son. So, hear, my son, your father's instructions, and reject not your mother's teaching. For they are a fair garland for your head, and pendants for your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. If they say, come with us, and let us lie in wait for blood, let us wantonly ambush the innocent. Like Sheol or hell, let us swallow them alive and whole, like those who go down to the pit. We shall find all precious goods. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Throw in your lot among us, and we will all have one purse. It says similar over here. I'll have one money bag. My son, do not walk in the way with them. Hold back your foot from their paths. For their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed blood. For in vain a net is spread in the sight of any bird. Right? Now that's... Yeah. But these men lie in wait for their own blood. They set an ambush for their own lives. Such are the ways of all who get gain by violence. It takes away the life of its possessors. Right? A lot of that going on today, huh? Gain by violence. Such is the way of everyone who makes unjust gain. It is the way of life of its. It takes away the life of its possessors. Same. These are all, since they're both word for word, and this is just bordering on thought for thought over here. It's interesting. This will be fun. Okay, the call of wisdom, verse 20. Wisdom cries aloud in the street. In the market, she raises her voice. You know, it always likens wisdom to a female. I always thought that was interesting. At the top of the wall, she cries out. At the entrance of the city gate, she speaks. How long, O simple ones, will you love being simple? How long will scoffers delight in their scoffing, and fools hate knowledge? Give heed to my reproof. Return to my rebuke, it says over there. Behold, I will pour out my thoughts to you. I will make my words known to you. Because I have called you, and you refuse to listen, have stretched out my hand, and no one has heeded, and you have ignored all my counsel, and you would have none of my reproof. I will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when panic strikes you. When panic strikes you like a storm, and your calamity comes like a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you. They will call upon me, but I will not answer. They will seek me diligently, but will not find me. Because they hated knowledge, and did not choose to fear the Lord, would have none of my counsel, and despised all my reproof. Therefore they shall eat the fruit of their way, and be sated with their own devices. For the simple are killed by their turning away, and the compliance of fools destroys them. But he who listens to me will dwell secure, and be at ease without dread of evil. Okay, that's cool. Let's make that blue. We're going to make all these blue. There. Wisdom wants you. God wants you to be wise, okay? God wants you to be wise. So, it's just the introduction, so we didn't highlight a whole lot in here. Okay. Okay, we did highlight this over here last month, and we can highlight that again. Just okay. That men may know wisdom and instruction, understand words of insight, or discern the sayings of understanding. Okay. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Okay. Fear, awe, respect, following God. That's the beginning of knowledge. That's where it starts. Okay. Such are the ways of all men who gain by violence. It takes away the life of its possessors. Okay? Don't be violent. Don't follow those people. Stay out of the big cities. Don't take part in those protests because they're violent. Okay? And because men hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord, would have none of my counsel, and despised all my reproof. Therefore they shall eat the fruit of their way, and be sated by their own devices. For the simple are killed by turning away, and the complacence of fools destroys them. But he who listens to me will dwell secure, and be at ease without dread of evil. Right? Okay, now that's the introduction. Wisdom is calling. Are you answering or not? Okay, we're going to jump over to James 1:5 real quick. James 1, verse 5. We'll just read 5 and 6. Okay? It's about wisdom. Okay, and this is clearer in the New Testament. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives to all men generously and without reproaching, and it will be given him. But let him ask in faith with no doubting, for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose that a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways, will receive anything from the Lord. So, if you follow the Lord, and this is, people ask, well, how do I get wisdom? Right here. Okay? If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives to all men generously without reproaching, and it will be given him. If you want wisdom, if you want these Proverbs to sink in, all you got to do is ask. Ask God. But when you ask in faith without doubting. For he who doubts is like a wave on the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. That person must not suppose that a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways, will receive anything from the Lord. Got that? So, and that's just basic, if you want wisdom, you just have to ask. But you have to ask and not doubt. When you pray to God and say, God, I need wisdom, help me learn wisdom, and have faith that when you read these, they will sink in. And if you read them over and over again and commit them to memory, then they will be part of your very makeup. And that kind of wisdom is what we're after. With that kind of wisdom, everything else falls in place. We'll find out it says that over and over again all throughout Proverbs, okay? Wisdom, be humble, know when to keep your mouth shut, okay? Now, this is the 7th time we're going through this. And I always look forward to it each time. It's it doesn't get old, I've done it 7 times. My goal is to do it 24 times for 2 years. And at the end of 2 years, we should be able to practically quote these. If we do one proverb every day, there's 31 chapters, 31 days in most months. This month has 31 days in it, so we'll get one every single day. And I like this Revised Standard Version. It's not too far off from the actual, If it gets weird and changes too much, we might change over to one of the more popular versions later on. But for now, we're doing the Revised Standard. And that's today, starting a whole new month. Let's do this. See you next time.